You've made it through another week, and to celebrate, here's another Full Build Friday. After the summer heat, I think it's best to cool down a little and just chill out. To that end, we're making, and maybe busting, a move in Marvel Rivals to build the snowy singer, Luna Snow. Naturally, to sing this songstress into existence, we need to know the notes, particularly the notes of her background. Seol Hee of South Korea became a pop star and idol by the name of Luna, who gained cryokinetic powers during one of her concerts. While still a star, she has also since become a superhero operating under the guise of Luna Snow. In the game of Marvel Rivals, she's a strategist who uses light ice to heal her allies and dark ice to damage her foes. Passively, she can start skating by continuing forward, increasing her speed and jump distance, though some of her abilities also offer her some self-healing. While her primary attack launches an ice shard, her absolute zero right click launches a sphere of ice that damages and freezes an enemy in place upon hitting them. She can attach an idle aura to an ally with Share the Stage, which shares healing she applies to others with them, and increases the healing that she directly applies to them as well. Ice Arts launches ice shards in a line that damage enemies and heal allies that they pass through, and her ultimate is Fate of Both Worlds, which produces an aura that she can use to heal allies within or boost her damage for its entire duration. Speaking of, some of her team-ups see her enhancing the attacks of her allies with ice, while another allows her to channel her chi to knock back and slow enemies around her. The healing and ice themes of Luna Snow's kits are equally prominent, and thus will be highly important when it comes to representing her. As a strategist, she's all about supporting her teammates, and outside of the healing that she provides, she can also lock down enemies with absolute zero, or empower their attacks, as we see in her ultimate. I also want to work in some of that mobility from her passive ability when it comes to designing her. With that said, I was trying to find an ancestry that could really lean into her nature as a performer, but I ultimately landed on the human ancestry. We will be mixing it up just a bit with the changeling heritage, which leads to the use of the Snow May ancestry feat. This honestly works really fantastically for Luna, because it gives her the homophobia, the heterochromia, that she exhibits. It also allows her to move through ice and snow with far greater ease. Now, a benefit of being human does also mean that she has two free boosts that will apply to her wisdom and charisma, one of which is important to her flavor as a character, and the other more for her mechanics. From the Starfinder suite of backgrounds, we can pick up the Icon background given her role as an idol. This provides her with proficiency in the performance skill as well as media lore. Like many backgrounds that grants performance, it also provides her with the impressive performance skill feat, so that she can put on a show to put her in the good graces of those that give it a watch. Naturally, icons receive a boost to charisma, while we will be applying her free boost to wisdom. And that brings us to her class, where we're looking at a new option this week as we tap into the Starfinder's Mystic class to build our Boreal Balladeer. This is unfortunately wisdom based, but is a solid casting class with a couple of unique features to its name. Its main thing is its Vitality Network, which can be used to transfer vitality to allies that she shares a mystic bond with. But she also gets a connection that serves as a sort of subclass. Naturally, for this snowy songstress, we'll smartly select the Rhythm Connection. This provides her with a number of musically inclined spells, such as Summon Instrument, Motivating Ringtone, and her Anthem Epiphany spell, which she can sustain whenever she transfers vitality thanks to her connection's harmony. However, the other important aspect of this is that it provides her with the Primal Spell List, which she can use to pick up ice and snow-based spells. Starting off, she'll favor Frostbite as well as Purifying Icicle, though she will for sure want Heal in her lineup as well, which you should totally flavor as her light ice. I do also feel as though the purifying nature of her Icicle fits with this idea as well. Now normally this connection would also make her train in performance, but she already has that from her background, so instead, she'll use it to become trained in nature, and then receive further training in acrobatics, athletics, and society. She'll take her ability boost to dexterity, constitution, wisdom, and charisma, and obviously wisdom will take priority here. However, I'd pump charisma as much as you can based on her profession as a pop star. For gear, I'd probably equip Microcord Armor and grab a Singing Coil, since the professional trait will allow her to treat it as a simple weapon that she can make use of if she gets into a pinch. Getting into second level, Luna will actually take advantage of a Cleric Dedication. I don't know anything about this character's faith, but in a Pathfinder or Starfinder setting, I would look for an option that has access to the healing domain, and preferably one that has performance as their main skill, even if she'll probably use it to become trained in crafting and religion. She gets 2 divine cantrips, which can be handy, and then she takes quick jump for her skill feat. This is inspired by the enhanced speed and jumping distance of her passive once she starts ice skating, though I will admit it isn't quite perfect for it. Also at this level, she can grab Chilling Spray from among her first rank spells to gain an area ice effect. It goes through people like her ice arts, but will unfortunately end up hurting her allies, so it's not quite there. 3rd level is going to be one of those levels that does something really weird, but has a purpose, I promise. Before that, she does gain the group chat class feature, an expertise in reflex saves, and signature spells, the first of which she will be applying to her heal spell. Her skill increase will make her an expert in performance, and then we're going to take adopted ancestry for the goblin ancestry, allowing her to access their feats. Which, yes, is weird. But by the next time we get an ancestry feat, you'll see why I did this. With her 2nd rank spell, she gains Noise Blast, and should probably pick up Rhyme Slick for some more ice effects, though she could signature just about anything you'd like for this particular rank. We'll follow on from there with Basic Dogma at 4th level, which leads to Communal Healing. This allows Luna to siphon some healing to a secondary ally when she targets a single ally for healing, resembling the idle aura that her Share the Stage can infuse others with. For her skill feat, Fascinating Performance further builds out of her performance skill, which is important for her role as an idol and can help in some social situations by taking the focus off of her teammates. For the 5th level, this cold but cute crooner, Luna gains ability boost to Dexterity, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. That intelligence increase means that she becomes trained in diplomacy, whereas her actual skill increase makes her an expert in nature. And that is important for a feat that I've got my eyes on. She also becomes an expert in fortitude saves, and then she uses that adopted ancestry to take Goblin Song. Now obviously I would probably frame this as less annoying Goblin Songs, but it could be handy to inflict a penalty on perception and will saves for a few of her spells or those of her allies. Speaking of, this level comes with Hypnotize from her connection, and then she can grab Moonlight Ray. The fact that this deals extra damage to creatures with the Unholy trait, and that it can banish darkness, makes it feel like a good fit for her Light Ice, even if it doesn't actually heal creatures. With that nature increase from last level, Luna can take New Epiphany for the Elemental connection, giving her a way to create a water weapon that deals bonus cold damage, which takes inspiration from some of her team-up abilities. On the skill side of things, I went for Distracting Performance to keep on track with the collection of performance skill feats and give her another way to aid her allies, since that is ultimately her role as a strategist. Notably, if she uses Goblin Song before this, she can reduce the DC that she needs to roll against to activate it. For this sleet-spewing songstress's 7th level, Luna becomes an expert spellcaster and a master in performance. She taps into Ancestral Paragon as her general feat, which will let her take Cooperative Nature. Again, the idea behind this is that she is a strategist, but if she's used to sharing the stage, it only makes sense that she would have some sort of capability like this. Spell-wise, Luna automatically receives Battle Sonata, and then grabs Cloak of Light. The area for this is much smaller than I would like it to be, but it is a healing effect in an aura, akin to one aspect of her ultimate. There's also Ice Storm here to work some more cryokinetic capabilities into this crooner's kit. But another way to get the area heal of her ult is through Radiant Bond at 8th level, which allows her to select multiple creatures to transfer vitality to at once, without increasing the number of actions needed to do so. She can also gain Virtuosic Performer for singing, granting her a bonus on such checks and leading into a couple of other skill feats that we'll want to look at down the line. Our Mighty Mystic Maiden manages a Resilient Soul at 9th level, which also features a skill increase that makes her an expert in athletics. As a changeling, Luna can then invoke the elements to conceal herself in snow that damages enemies who draw too close. Since she's a snow maid, this deals cold damage, and can be thought of to resemble her Frozen Chi by just a bit. Synaptic Pulse could also be handy to combo with this, letting her slow enemies by limiting their actions, but I also think Mantle of the Frozen Heart here is one of the most important options, because one of the abilities that it can provide is Ice Glide, providing her with the speed boost of her ice skating passive. Following that, we reach 10th level, and the first thing that we have to consider are ability boosts to Dexterity, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Yet another intelligence increase makes her train in Intimidation, which doesn't exactly fit her, but is too mechanically useful to pass up on. She then takes an Advanced Epiphany to gain the Shuffle Repeat spell, which can enhance the damage of her allies, per the other aspect of her Fate of Both Worlds. She switches up her skill feats a little then by taking Powerful Leap instead of yet another performance feat. This is of course based on her skating passive ability and the enhanced jump that she receives as part of it. With 11th level, Luna gains Perception and Weapon Expertise, as well as a skill increase that makes her a master in Athletics. She uses Fleet as her general feat, playing into the heightened speed from her passive. And then there's a couple of really solid spells this rank as well. Vibrant Pattern comes from her connection, but much more important is Field of Life and Frost Pillar. The former creates a healing field akin to her ultimate, with its only flaw being that it isn't an aura, while the latter can freeze a foe solid, suiting her Absolute Zero alternate fire that does exactly this. From there, the Cleric class concocts a comeback at 12th level as she takes Advanced Dogma for Domain Initiate of the Healing Domain. This affords her the Healer's Blessing focus spell, which increases the healing a creature receives, just like the Idle Aura from her Share the Stage. Then, she'll get a bit quicker with Rapid Mantle as her skill feat. This also has some mechanical relevance related to the athletic skill that we've been investing in, compared to her lagging reflex save, but its inclusion is questionable beyond that. Looking towards lucky level 13 though, Luna lands Armor Expertise, Weapon Specialization, and a skill increase that makes her an expert in Intimidation. She follows on from that earlier cooperative nature with Cooperative Soul, making her even better at working with and aiding others. On the spell side of things, we get Howl from her connection, Moonburst for similar reasons to Moonlight Ray, and then, rather appropriately, Absolute Zero. While this spell will slow and potentially freeze enemies solid, it's a big area rather than the single target effect of her ability of the same name, but I think it still works out. For the fantabulous 14th level of our Frosty friend, she gains a Greater Epiphany to learn the Remix Focus spell, which is effectively a sustained haste for a focus point. Then, with the headway we've been making into Intimidation, we can make use of Talent Envy. This feat has escaped my notice previously, and while it has a minute limitation, it honestly has a pretty neat effect with the way it operates alongside the Demoralize action, and was one that I could not pass up on. From there, level 15 starts with ability boosts to Dexterity, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma. It also leads to her becoming a Master Spellcaster and a Legend of Performance. She'll take Feather Step as her general feat, since with all her ice and snow, she'll probably be leaving around plenty of difficult terrain for her to navigate. Then, finally, after a swath of reflex-based snow spells, she gets Arctic Rift, a fortitude-based spell that can freeze foes in place, and, notably, hits in a line, not unlike her Ice Arts. Though, again, it lacks the healing. After all the sustained spells that we've selected, ranging from her Epiphany spells to Field of Life to Ice Storm, Effortless Concentration feels like a fantastic fit for Luna here. She can follow it with Legendary Performer, which, again, almost feels necessary given the fame of this pop star, which we will try to explore just a little bit more with our ever-dwindling list of feats. Before that though, we have level 17, which starts simply enough with a skill increase that makes her a legend in Athletics, just getting the most out of that investment. And now, while I've complained about it in the past, Heroic Presence here does honestly suit Luna quite well, letting her supply all her allies with temp HP and a bonus on saves against mental effects. As another way to cover Luna's ult, she takes Vitality Web at level 18, so that she can supply multiple creatures with fast healing, though she probably won't be able to cover the full party for a little bit longer. Through her athletic skill, she'll take Cloud Jump to give her some real heroic leaps and jumps. She's no Superman, but she might still be able to clear certain buildings in a single bound. Her final round of class features affords her Legendary Spellcaster, Perfect Harmony, Transcendence, and a skill increase that lets her master Intimidation. Given her globetrotting as a hero and pop star alike, a home in every port feels like a solid get for her, even though it is entirely flavor based, since this wouldn't be something that could be portrayed in Rivals. We then start the end with ability boosts at level 20 going to Strength, Constitution, Intelligence, and Wisdom. That final intelligence increase leads to her becoming trained in medicine, while her legendary status and performance means that she can take Enlightenment. This feat vastly enhances her healing capabilities by expanding her vitality network and how much it recovers each round. She also has Intimidating Glare, so that she can make more use out of her talent Envy and the demoralized effects that it will provide. Now, in regards to playing Luna, I honestly think the Rhythm Connection helps this build out a lot. As always, you have to play into a foe's weakest save, and cold spells that give a good mix of targeting, reflex, or fortitude saves. However, as is the case with the primal spell list in general, spells that target the will save can be found to be a little lacking. However, we do get a good amount of them through her connection spells. Notably, before using such spells, I'd considered using something such as Goblin Song, which might incidentally trigger Talent Envy, to debuff foes first. However, Luna Snow will also likely be pretty busy empowering her allies and keeping them topped up with Transfer Vitality, which will also allow her to stay in her Epiphany spells such as Anthem, Shuffle Repeat, or even Mix whenever she does so. So you have a good mix of stuff going on. As for her archetype, she could obviously expand on her Cleric dedication by getting into the feats that grant her spells, but I would refrain from taking up a Bard archetype. I feel like it might end up just being a little redundant. However, she should 100% look into the Celebrity dedication. This is pretty much entirely flavor based, but there are some fun feats in here such as Big Debut, Command Attention, or Perfect Pitch, which even works with her role as a caster. As we reach the crescendo of our song, we have to ask ourselves, have we succeeded in making this icy idol, or is she more of a puddle? Let's review and find out. Luna Snow is a changeling human mystic with a rhythm connection, and a background as an icon since she is a world-famous pop star, which is further demonstrated by her legendary performer and a home in every port feats. Through her heritage, she gains the Snow May lineage as an initial reference to her cryokinetic abilities, which is further covered by her primal spell list and the cold spells that it provides. One of these spells is Mantle of the Frozen Heart, which comes with the Ice Glide option based off of her passive, and is further covered by significant investment in athletics with feats such as Powerful Leap and Cloud Jump. Her Light Ice comes from spells such as Rousing Splash or Heal, while her Dark Ice can reliably be created through Frostbite or any number of other cold-based damaging spells. For the freezing effects of her Absolute Zero, we actually have a spell of the same name, or the more singularly focused Frozen Pillar to stop an enemy dead in their tracks. She has to tap into a Cleric dedication to get some of the effects of her Share the Stage through both Communal Healing and Healer's Blessing, but she returns to her primal spells for the likes of Frigid Flurry or Arctic Rift to create line effects akin to her Ice Arts, though these certainly won't be healing her allies as this ability is meant to. To recreate the healing of her Fate of Both Worlds though, she can drop a Field of Life, or simply drop some 3-action heals. As for the damage increase it can alternate to, we'll be looking at her Anthem or Shuffle Repeat from her Epiphany spells. Also along those lines is Elemental Weapons, inspired by her team-up ability with Jeff, and then invoke the elements of her Changeling ancestry for the Frozen Chi team-up granted to her by Iron Fist. Skating into the skirmish, this songstress supreme sends a spray of sleet and snow at sinister suspects while supporting her squad with sweet serenades that send Sub-Zero supplements and shore up their slacking salubriousness. Let me know what you think of this build and what other sorts of builds you'd like to see in a comment. If you like what you see here and want more, be sure to leave a like and then subscribe to the channel. You can also check out the blog, which is linked below along with the Twitter and Discord. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic Friday.